Hello, everybody. Happy Halloween. Welcome to the Ravens Outpost. Uh, Sorry so late in getting this started. I was actually talking to a young lady who was having problems on her property, and it looks like I may be going out there here pretty soon to take a look and see what's going on. She has a multitude of problems, and it's really weird. It's something that I personally have not had the opportunity to deal with yet, and this is animal mutilations, um, and strange lights. Um, it's weird. Uh, Got to tell you, um, I had a whole show wrapped up here and planned, but this conversation really threw me for a loop. Uh, the Get chat started in here. All right. Hey, Eric, how's it going, man? Okay. Let's jump right into it. And the Halloween special of The Raven's Eye. Well, everybody, like I said, I got this message from my nephew. How you doing, Eric? Happy Halloween, man. Glad you're here. Like I said, I'm sorry I'm late. Uh, it was a very interesting conversation with this young lady. Um, she's actually originally from around my neck of the woods. Uh, and she was telling me about her mom, telling me about all the high strangeness that's gone on with her and her mom. She's got a history. So what's going on here is strange lights, possible Bigfoot interaction, and it's weird. I got a call from or a text from my nephew, like I said, and he was telling me about her and sent me some photos. Um, it's pretty graphic right now. I mean, right now I haven't got anything downloaded yet. Otherwise, I'd bring it up, but and show you guys. But fair warning, if I can bring it up, it's pretty graphic. Had a mini horse. It was ripped open from its chest cavity all the way down to its hind parts. I mean, split completely in two, and all of its intestines completely removed and devoured. No blood whatsoever around it. I've seen the pictures. It's fact. It's blew my mind. So okay, we need to hold on just a second. I need to take just a second. All right, sorry about that. Um, Here's the deal. Um, I'm gonna be getting in touch with her to set up a meeting with her and her husband. I'm gonna look at the property, take a few pictures, and see what's going on. Um, I probably myself won't have all the answers, but I know enough people in the know who might, and she needs to she needs to know what's going on. She had a goat that was torn apart, head and neck completely removed from the body, and just that was it. It was just left there. Totally weird. High strangeness. Period. Um, even turn my light on. Um, so I don't know. I'm blown away by it. To be honest with you, totally blown away. Um, I was going to talk about a few things. Go over just a Halloween thing. It's a little lighthearted, but a little dark and macabre, like you would normally um have to do on Halloween. Those of you animal mutilations could be dog man. They very well could be. Very well could be. I thought about that too. Um, a fence had been torn up. It was about 150 feet away from the property. Both times, the horse and the goat, about 150 feet, and no tracks. No tracks, man. That's the weird thing. But there looks to be. I've seen the torn up fence. Um, it shows. It looks almost like a handprint, a muddy handprint on the top, of like someone had laid their hand on the top of the fence, like that. How you wrap you around it? But that's it. No tracks. That's the thing. The from what I could tell, I believe that poor horse was totally exsanguinated. Yeah, I was thinking Sasquatch, at first, but it very well could possibly be Dogman because of its aggressiveness. Now, it's in a neighboring county. Um, it's fairly decent size. Like I said, I once maybe I can download the pictures. I don't know if you guys can. Not okay. Stop this. I don't know if you guys could have seen me or not, but I'm gonna try and bring it up. Um, Probably can't see me. Well, yeah, you can, but you can't see this. Um, I'm gonna try and get this. Hold on. All right, now, Not there. Bear with me, folks. I'm trying to get this pulled up so you guys can actually see the photographs. Looks good. All right. Can any of you, can you guys see this at all? Let me see. Move this over here. That. Now, could you see that at all? Hey, Ray, how are you doing? Um, I want to tell you, I'm a chupacabra. I want to show you the fence first. Let's see if I get this right. All right, here we go. These are the pictures that were sent to me. Okay. The fence. You look around here on the ground. It's hardly even disturbed, really. And that's just from, you see something right here about where my cursor is, and right about in here. But there's that one. And here is the mud along the top here. This top rail. Very strange. Very strange indeed. Why it chose to do this right here at this oak tree. And we've got this right here. Now, this is the only thing that leads me to believe some type of handprint. Nothing really discernible. But this right here. You see, I mean, if you can see where my cursor is, you can see that. There's that, and it's where the mud is. See, that's about here. Okay. So there's that. And just be forewarned, chupacabra is insanguination. Yeah, it does look like two fingers. I'm not sure, but happy Halloween, Ray. Happy Halloween. This show took a different turn because this wasn't exactly how I was planning on doing it. I was just going to sit back. We're going to tell some stories and look at some videos and, have a good time. Well, my nephew, Dylan here, he's the one who, he's the one who turned me on to this. He let me know about what was going on. He showed me there was a Facebook post. He's friends. He went to school with this young lady, and he just happened to stumble across the chat, and I think my cousin actually it was in on the conversation as well, and he sent me screenshots of the conversation. I'm like, holy shit, what the hell's going on? That sounds like Sasquatch. And then he talked to her. He let her know about me, and then I got in touch with her, and we talked for a while. The whole reason why the show was late airing tonight, I was ready, set to go, 10 o'clock, but she got in touch with me, and we talked for about half an hour through text, and it's a lot of other things going on around her property. That is issues of high strangeness, strange lights. Got like a picture window in her bedroom. And she said that her and her husband were in the bedroom one night, and all of a sudden there was just this huge bright light that lit the whole room up. There are lights that shoot out of the mountain and up into the sky at lightning speed. And those are her words, not mine. So, without further ado, I'm going to try and show you the pictures of the poor horse. Now, once again, be warned, this is very graphic. Okay. You can see it. No blood whatsoever. And this just happened a couple of days ago. All the intestines, every last one of them, were removed. Said it was there one day and gone the next. So I don't know, folks. It is Halloween, and we're talking about high craziness. And this is part of Raven's Outpost. This is what we do here. And I want to help this young lady. I want to help her and her husband, because she also told me that he wasn't a real big believer in the paranormal, but with everything that he's seen going on around there himself, it's like it's one of those things that you have no choice but to believe. You really have no choice. Devil worshippers, Eric, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to rule anything out till I get there and take a look for myself, you know. But we're definitely going to go out there and take a look. We meaning me. Right now, I have no one here. My partner in crime, who would be all up in this, is in Nevada right now. That's where he lives, Dylan. Maybe I can get someone else to come out who is who's friendly to animals. I don't know. I'll talk to her and see what she has to say. She's got time for that. But yeah, this is definitely something I feel like I need to look into. And when I first started this channel, and I named it Cryptids, Myths, and Mysteries. It was just I needed a catchy name for it. That kind of encompassed what I was doing, but I was pigeonholing myself into the whole cryptid field, which I don't mind the cryptid field. I like the cryptid field a lot. I've done a lot there, but that's not what I'm all about. I explained that in my very first video. I mean, everything paranormal, I believe, is related. And after a while, I felt like the channel was just stagnating. I wasn't happy with how it was sitting, how it was going. It wasn't growing. I wasn't doing anything with it. And I'm like, man, I need to make a change. So I got the soul searching, and lo and behold, Raven's Outpost was born, and here we are. And I felt I felt for a long time that this was my calling. You know, everybody has a calling for something or other, and for the longest time, I felt law enforcement was it for me. I was in it for 12, 13 years, and I had to get out of that. After my son was born, I've been a stay-at-home dad for a while. Did odds and end jobs here and there, but this right here is, I feel like I can reach out and I can. Ray, you're absolutely right, and I deep down in my soul, I believe it's all connected. I believe it's all connected somehow or other. Um, she, it, I talked about this before in a previous video, about Stan Gordon and his his investigations into UFO sightings that were accompanied by cryptid sightings. You know, and I totally believe that there is something going on here. And Eric, the kind of lights, what kind of lights? I don't know. He just said there are lights, and they're coming out of the mountain, um, up into the sky. I don't know. I don't know. But she said they move at, I quote, lightning speed. So it's like best thing I could say. um, the animal mutilations, though, is like I said. Of course, I've seen it. I've other places. This is right next door. This is happening about maybe 50 miles from me. It may be about 50, 60 miles from me. And it's right off the Blue Ridge Parkway, if anybody's familiar with the Blue Ridge Parkway. It's not far from there. And I'm here to tell you, Blue Ridge Parkway is it's one of them places where you look at it and you say all kinds of craziness go on here. It's public land. It's reserved. You can't hunt on it. Um, you get trouble for picking certain flowers on the parkway. I kid you not. Don't think it's Chicken Man either. It could. Well, you never know. you know, I'm serious though. Um, the world it's getting crazy, man, and it maybe it's not getting crazy. Maybe it's always been crazy, but we're living in the information age. We're seeing everything more now. Everybody's with the pandemic when it hit. People got bored out the ass and said, "I'm going to start filming this, filming that," and then next thing you know, here we go. We're everybody's a journalist now, and I never thought I would be doing the work of a journalist in some form or fashion. I'm sure that a few others in this field feel the same. Uh, Investigative journalism, and that's what I'm wanting to do. Is I want to bring everything I find here to the masses. That's the only reason why I really want this channel to grow is because of that. Um, Information. Me personally, I have nothing to prove. I've got nothing to prove. I'm just wanting to raise awareness and let people know what's going on out there. And this isn't a Bigfoot show. Not anymore. This encompasses so much more than that. And buddy, I would believe that. I totally believe that. Um, if you had the transportation, you'd love to travel out here with me, and I'd love that. That would be awesome. Um, I know a couple of people that are pretty close who might be interested in this once I take a look. Yes, awareness is. Imagine how much. Ray, for the audience who can't see the chat, Ray says, "Do you think anything dimensional even realizes time and or distance? Maybe we're just looking at the ethereal, esoteric events all wrong. It's very well possible. I thought about that too. You know, um, there are people who are there's they've tried to focus on certain aspects of certain things. That's great. That's where you get experts in certain. Um, gather all this knowledge about this one certain thing, but you get tunnel vision, and that's I mean you got them blinders on. That's all you see. There, just like that. I mean, and she was saying, so why is there no tracks? Wouldn't they be heavy? And I told her, I said, I found several tracks, and these tracks are singular, like leading one direction. I found a 16-inch track that was deep in the ground, probably about an inch and a half, almost 2 inches deep in the earth, and there were no other tracks to be found around it. I can't explain that. When me and my son were out about a month or so ago, and we found a Bigfoot print, that Bigfoot print, and there were two partials. This is the only time that I've been out here in the 3.5 years of investigating. This is the first time I found any partial prints. One behind it, one in front of it, and then that was it. It's like there was a half step, whole step, another half step, and it was gone. And it was on the side of a creek bed. Okay, but where did they go? Where did they go? Okay, there was water all around it. I looked for hair, and from the direction it was coming from, it had to come through brush, off a bank, through brush. Okay, the way it was, way it was looking like it was traveling. But I'll be damned if I could find anything. Five. Look, man, I measured it out. You look at the video. I measured it out to show you 5 feet from the rear partial to the heel, the full print. It was 5 feet stride. Okay, and from the toe, the full print to the partial one in front of it was about 4.5. 4.5 feet stride. That's crazy. But I can't explain the lights either. And this is not the only time that this has happened. A buddy of mine contacted me over a year ago with lights on the mountain ridge across from him. I mean, it was like, I mean, it was bright. He showed me the pictures. I don't have them right with me. I need to download them. I've got them squared away. I'll bring them back out. Um, I do have a video. The strange lights. Let's see. Okay, me. Maybe. All right, I'm going to see if I can find that. I'm going to see if I can bring that up. Yeah, please bear with me here. All right. All right. Now, here we go. All right, these lights right here, we're taking the picture. If you see the flashes on this tree right here. This is off his back porch. Okay. And there's a mountain ridge over here. Okay. And there's nothing on the other side. Behind him, okay, from where he's aiming this camera, where he's aiming the camera, from behind him, there's an interstate. Behind him, where they're working on a gas pipeline. I let another buddy of mine know about this, and he's like, "Oh, they're just working on that pipeline up there." I said, "That's not it. I can guarantee you that's not it." So let's take a look here. See how bright that is? That's crazy. Now, if you were to step outside your porch and you look at that and you know there's nothing supposed to be up there and the whole night sky is lit up like that, basically this is what I'm thinking about. This is what I'm thinking that this young lady I just talked to is seeing, basically, but she said they're flying up like that out of the mountain. So I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Um, Not only where did it go, but where did it come from? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, where I found the tracks, it was in the creek bed, but it had to come through brush, judging from the the track pattern. Tracks, they always have patterns, and that's what you look for. And when you're tracking something, that's what you look for. You always look for patterns, and it was just random. It's like boom, 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 three, a partial, a full, and a partial, and it headed straight to the water. Okay. The Fae, the lights could be numerous things. Fae, aliens, demon, it could be. Hey man, at this point, I'm not ruling anything out. Like I said, it's Halloween. This just like fell in my lap. This was a huge talking point here. Like I said, yesterday, Rick, you come up with, you said, today, 83 years since the the radio broadcast of the War of the Worlds. I was going to bring that up. That was going to be my opener. I still got it, but this, to me personally, this is taking place right here, right now, and it's really happening in real time. This girl just lost a horse. Okay, lost it yesterday. Found it today. Those pictures were taken today. Okay, what happened to that fence happened today, and what happened to her goat happened like 2 weeks ago. Oh, Ray, you're killing me. You're killing me. You're funny. You're killing me. Anyway, anyway, so the more I hear, the more I know and find out. Um, I will most definitely let you know. Definitely let you know. Um, a little sip of coffee. Got a little MCT oil in it. It's good stuff. So, if you guys don't mind, we'll segue into this. There we go. Oh, yeah. Look at Orson Welles. Look how young he is. How young he is here. It was October 30th, 1938, when a Martian spacecraft landed on a farm outside of Princeton, New Jersey, launching an attempted conquest of the Earth. But the Martian invasion wasn't real. People reacted with shock and fear to the CBS radio broadcast of War of the Worlds. The hour-long fictional fright produced by 23-year-old actor Orson Welles touched off a real drama. Radio listeners panicked, with some fleeing their homes and motorists clogging roads to get away. Radio listeners around the country feared an extraterrestrial invasion that never happened. The following day, the headline in Jonestown Tribune read, "Mass hysteria hits nation at broadcast of Martian invasion." And here it is. Here's that clip. Columbia system faces wrath of frightened public as a result. Radio drama still talked about 83 years later. Now, honestly, can you imagine if that happened today? I mean, the government has I'm sorry. I can't help but laugh at this so-called government disclosure about UAPs and their knowledge thereof and all that. It's just something I believe they've known about for a very, very long time. H.G. Wells penned this novel in 1897. Just 12 years earlier, the first automobile was manufactured in Germany. Just 12 years before that. What did he know about heat rays? What did he know about alien spacecraft? H.G. Wells. What did H.G. Wells know about all of this? He was so H.G. Wells was so far ahead of their time. I'm assuming H.G. Wells was a man. It was a pen name. Could have been a face. It could have been a woman who wrote this, like Mary Shelley. I mean, she was open about writing Frankenstein. I mean, but she was a visionary. Who would think about you know that type of macabre thing? And that type of necromancy. Then she was well ahead of her time in science and medicine, in that science fiction field. Well ahead. So who's to say? Oh, just a second. I will be back in just a moment. Sorry about that, folks. Um, uh, Having children, sometimes I need to take a break, do daddy duty. Um, Look back at the chat here. So you Ray, you remember about your mom talking about that podcast or the podcast, the broadcast. Um, yeah. So you were at Roswell last summer. Gene Roddenberry was into seances. There was a time when spiritualism was a big thing, um, and it wasn't that out of the norm to be, talking about spiritualists, mediums, um, fortune tellers. It was a thing, but now it's looked down upon. It's been frowned upon. It's been beat down by, well, podcast in the 30s would have been something. Yeah, no, yeah. You think Frankenstein was based on a fact, Eric? Could have been. It very well could have been. I mean, you think about. I believe Roddenberry was a naval officer. I could be wrong, but you think about all the detail that she knew. You know, she had to do a lot of research for it. Nothing else. Getting the anatomy. Know, yeah, absolutely. The one you mentioned just then that surprised me um, was Walt Disney, because growing up as a kid, I loved Walt Disney, the old Disney, and I did not realize how dark he was. I didn't realize it until I started learning about this, that, and the other. But like I said, it's Halloween, folks. Um, there's another thing. I have it. I had it listed, linked in the description below. I watch a show called You Are Here. With Sydney Watson and Elijah Schaefer. I don't know if you're familiar with who either one of those two people are. Elijah Schaefer is he's a journalist, and he's got a lot of work under his belt. Um, but here's something I want to bring up. If you're when we're talking, since we're talking about scientists and Babylon, the whole Babylon working thing. Yeah, yeah. We were indoctrinated to think Disney was for children. Um, there was a darkness there that people just really didn't pick up on. Dylan, dude, good to see you, Hoss. Yeah, I've been talking it up. I talked to her quite extensively, and like I was telling everybody else here, yeah, I was a half hour late getting the show started because of it, and I'm going to work out something with her and her husband so I can go out and investigate the site, and hopefully it's going to be pretty soon. It's That's just not that's the tip of the iceberg, man. She's seeing lights and all kinds of other stuff out there coming out of the mountain. So there's a clip here I want to show you, and right here. This is coming from You Are Here, with this is Sydney. This is Miss Sydney Watson right here, and I'll play you this little excerpt.
This is one of the weirdest things that I've found on the internet of late, and that's really saying something. So apparently, the pandemic is it's driving up the demand for exorcisms. And this actually was reported originally, and it's behind a bloody paywall, and I'm not paying for you, Telegraph. This was reported by the Telegraph initially, and basically they're saying that an Italian priest is claiming that people believe there's a malignant force behind the pandemic, and that the feelings that everyone's experiencing are really strong, particularly those who have suffered financial hardship and mental health issues because of COVID-19. And then he quotes and he says, "We have seen an increase in the request for exorcisms because the pandemic has made people more vulnerable to the idea of Satan or some evil entity that has taken over their lives." And I just thought that this was so interesting. Just as a general concept, whether or not you believe in God and you do think that there is a malignant force or an evil entity and whatever, I certainly think that there was a shift at some point last year, energy-wise, which sounds really hippie-ish, I know, for anybody who doesn't subscribe to this stuff, but there was a shift where everything became really negative all of a sudden. So when I saw this, I was like, yeah, we are here.
Okay, with that being said, how many of you felt that shift? Because I did. And it wouldn't just last year. I've felt this shift growing for at least 4 years. It just hit a boiling point last year with the pandemic. I want to have Heather on the show. I really do. And Dylan, would you? I'm going to ask you right now to co-host it with me. Was this there's she has a history. Her mom uh had a history. They were up in Allegheny, and from her description, Sweet Spring Hollow. Her and her mom were up in Sweet Spring Hollow looking for Bigfoot. No kidding. No kidding. It would, yeah, Obama, yeah, Obama did his share, but I think it started way before then. Um, Clinton, the Bush administration, both senior and George W. Um, there was does Bohemian Grove ring a bell to anybody? This is a subject that get me banned from YouTube. Um, sure enough, man. Uh, the whole the whole shift in energy that's happened, the increase of paranormal activity across the globe, the increase in sightings. You look at how many paranormal shows there are out now. I mean, the uptick of paranormal shows since 9/11. We're going to go back far, but the most recent, and this is what I have observed. Okay, happy Halloween, everybody. Alex Jones. Alex Jones knows where it's at. People talk about him. Oh, he's crazy. He's talking about frogs, and the water turned the frogs gay. You know what? He was right. He was right. He's been right about a lot of stuff. Now his characterism, the character he portrays while he's putting on entertaining and doing his show, he seems off the wall, but he's really not. He's really all together. He's really got his ducks in a row. Really, there are forces at work here, and have been at work for a long time. Mark Dice did write books on Bohemian Grove. I pay attention to a lot of what Mark Dice says. Don't agree with everything he says, though. He feels that anybody who believes in Sasquatch is a nutbag. So he's got his knowledge base, and he needs to stick to his wheelhouse. You know, what is it they say? You need to stay in your lane. That's he knows a bunch. He does, but anybody on another spiritual level who's seen a lot of other stuff, he'll give down the road, which I think is wrong. Um, it just let's circle back to what happened earlier before I started the show. Miss Heather, she she's got real problems. She does, and she says she's been living there since 2019. Her and her husband moved there, and yeah, strange crap has been happening ever since. Stuff that her husband can't deny. Like I said, she told me that her husband was one of those type of people who didn't believe in all the paranormal stuff. Didn't pay attention to it, but enough has happened to him to where he has to say, "Hey, there's something to this." And and Eric, what you said earlier about it being a dog man. It very well could be. I don't know. I don't know. But when we're talking about, let's see, demonic possession is very real and on the rise. Although scientists may say demonic possession is a myth, one psychiatrist says it's very real and may be on the rise. Dr. Richard Gallagher is a leading psychiatrist and professor of clinical psychology at New York Medical College. Unlike most of his colleagues in the scientific arena, he believes there is a spiritual world with a very dark side that goes beyond just our physical world. Gallagher's work with the demonic world began decades ago when he had one client who was a self-proclaimed witch. She called herself a witch and dressed the part with flowing dark clothes and black eyeshadow around her temples. Gallagher described in an article in the Washington Post. A man of science who was skeptical about her claims until he experienced the unexplainable. My subject behavior exceeded that which what I could explain with my training, he recalls. She could tell some people their secret weaknesses, such as undue pride. She knew how individuals she'd never known had died, including my mother in her fatal case of ovarian cancer. But that was not the only thing that convinced Gallagher this was more than just a hoax. 6 other people vouched to me that during her exorcism they heard her speaking multiple languages, including Latin, completely unfamiliar to her outside of her trance, he said. It was not psychosis, it was what I can only describe as paranormal ability. I concluded that she was possessed. From then on, Gallagher began working with priests to help distinguish with clients which clients were possessed from those who suffered from mental illness. I'm going to stop right here. There's a show that used to be on CBS, but now I believe it's on Paramount. It was called Evil. I don't know if anybody's ever seen it or not. But the show, I don't know if it's still on the air or not. It had 2 seasons, one on CBS and the other one on Paramount. And it did a very good job of drawing that line and showing that shade of gray that is the line between actual mental illness and some type of possession of some type of entity. Aside from anything else, there you see that gray area go from here, and it's like, could this be possession? It's hard to tell. There has to be certain criteria that's reached. Look at most city boys can't handle the cryptid stuff. That's about right. The prints on the fence look like 2 fingers ending in claws. Yeah. I mean, that's possible, man. That's what made me shake my head. You know, have you ever seen the Exorcist TV show? Interesting stuff. I've heard about it. I've not seen it. If I ever get a chance to watch it, I believe it's not on the air anymore, but I do believe that it's out there streaming somewhere. But Actually, anybody familiar with Andrew Clavin? Well, he was actually talking about that today. He was watching the TV show. Said there's not a lot of. It's a TV show. It's based basically on the movie, and there's not a lot of blood and gore. They draw it out and give it a lot more detail. He says very interesting stuff, and it really does make you think. And it was good. Oh, okay. First season was on Netflix, and then Paramount bought it. Okay. Yeah, Andrew Clavin's pretty good. Out of all that bunch, I think I like him the most. There at the Daily Wire. Um, well, yeah. Anyway, but this is that article is coming from a clinical psychologist, and he's actually doing scientific research, not doing what he's told. And that's I believe was one of the problems with scientists now. They're not really scientists anymore. They're just lab participants. They're told to research one certain thing, and they stay laser focused on that and don't tend to look outside the box about anything. Um, and get let's get back to the cryptid thing. Real quick, it was years ago, back in the late '80s, early '90s, I believe. They had an interview with Grover Krantz. If are familiar with him, he was a biologist, and he stated back then that the only thing they would accept for proof was an actual body. You would have to bring them unequivocal proof. You would have to smack them in the face with a body for them to acknowledge the existence of the Sabe people. Why is that? Because they don't want to ruin their career. I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't view them as scientists anymore. Just a bunch of eggheads, and I don't care who I piss off with that. If you're not actually doing the job of a scientist, then you're not one. If you're not willing to accept the evidence, the scientific evidence that's already been proven, then what good are you? It's already been proven. We have an embarrassing amount of proof, both physical evidence and excuse me. Hold on. Yes, son.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. Sorry. Hey, come here. Sorry, I ain't hiding this one. Come here. Let me see. What you got there? I don't think you guys can hear him, can you? I've got noise cancellation down pretty. It's tied down pretty tight. I got to be right up on this mic. Say something. That's okay. It's okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool, son. Love you. Okay, what are we looking at here? Yeah, demon possession is very real. There are a lot of people. There's a lot of people who don't believe in it. No, look too much on the psychology. It's all psychosis, and I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, um, man, I can see. Oh my gosh, I can see her face. I'm actually friends with her on Facebook. This is very embarrassing. I've actually talked to her. Oh my gosh. But yeah, her credentials was shot to hell because of the the Bigfoot Genome Project. There's a lot of people who credibly worked on this and did actual scientific research on it. You know, real science doesn't demand you stay in the box. Exactly. There's no way forward if you're not doing that. The whole point of science is science changes, and it's because it's advancing. It goes forward, it advances, it changes, and there's no if there's no change, there's no science involved. Okay, we'll get. Yep, it's true. It's true. Get back to the article here. It says for the past 2.5 decades and over several hundred consultations, I've helped clergy from multiple denominations and faiths to filter episodes of mental illness, which represent the overwhelming majority of cases, from literally the devil's work, he explained. Looking back on more than 20 years of experience in identifying demonic possession, Gallagher suggests demonic possession is more frequent than we may believe. The Vatican does not track global or countrywide exorcisms, but in my experience and according to the priests I met, the demand is rising. The United States is home to about 50 stable exorcists, those who have been designated by bishops to combat demonic activity on a semi regular basis, up from 12 a decade ago. Still, many in Gallagher's field do not believe doctors can reconcile their work with belief in the spiritual world. But Gallagher says he has a simple answer to that objection. I've been asked, have a simple answer. I honestly weigh the evidence, he said. As I see it, the evidence for possession is like the evidence for George Washington's crossing of the Delaware. In both cases, written historical accounts with numerous sound witnesses testify to their accuracy. Boom, boom, right here, right here. I have been asked, have a simple I've been asked, have a simple answer. I honestly weigh the evidence. What did we just talk about? As I see it, the evidence for possession is like the evidence for George Washington's crossing of the Delaware. In both cases, written historical accounts with numerous sound witnesses testify to their accuracy. Actually, the Vatican has actually been having seminars, and they're recruiting uh, exorcists. And that's coming from the Vatican. Um, here it says Gallagher also says it is more illogical to outright reject the existence of the spiritual world. As a uh, psychoanalyst, a blanket rejection of the possibility of demonic attack seems less logical and often wishful in nature than a careful appraisal of the facts. And then that goes with the spiritual world altogether. I mean, that's what he's talking about. And it doesn't just include demons, you know, the other spirits out there. There are other things that can possess you. It doesn't necessarily have to be a demon. Okay. Happy Halloween, everybody. I mean, it still is. We've got 15 minutes left of Halloween. Um, the evil effing Vatican is not what the good but blinded people believe. Absolutely. Absolutely. People, dimensional beings. I believe that. I don't, when they describe heaven and hell, I remember as a child, I always thought hell was deep in the earth. Okay. And heaven was above us. And we've talked about frequency in a past roundtables here, on the Raven's Eye. We've talked about, how the other dimensions could be like you've got one here and you've got one here, and they're different frequencies, and all of a sudden something happens, and these frequencies match up. What if that's what happens? Who knows? Who knows? Absolutely. People who speak out against the powers that be um, tend to get Clintoned or Epsteined, however you want to put it. It's um, it's crazy. Now I don't know. I don't know about all this, but yeah. When we were talking about the spiritual, and he's talking about how you get away the evidence. I mean, how much more do you need? There's a lot of people out there who just need to have it just smack them in the face hard. I mean, that's all that'll do. That's right, Dylan. Rumor has it anyway. I don't know, man. It's just, oh, yeah, I had a lot of stuff pulled up on Mesopotamia, and here's one that's really interesting to me. The Cynocephali. Anybody familiar with the Cynocephali? There we go. There we go. That's what for. The Cynocephali. The mythical dog-headed human. Anybody familiar with this? The characteristics of the Cynocephali describe the head of a dog upon a human body. This trait is a theme upon which there are several variations, with representation showing up in several cultures and legends. Tales of human form with a dog-like head have been told about from ancient Egypt to ancient Greek, medieval, and Christian stories. These tales elicit both fear and fascination, are like an ancient form of a monster tale, often invoking the idea that Cynocephali is not just a myth or legend, but an actual race of creatures living here on Earth. The appearance of the Cynocephali in stories throughout the ages illustrates the ubiquitous nature of the creature and the flexibility of an image that continuously reoccurs with a similar appearance of varying stories. Dog man come to mind? Anybody? Like maybe I think there's a distinct difference between the werewolf, which I hate the term dog man. I really do. I'm going to put that out there. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I really do hate the term dog man. It sucks. If you would bear with me for just 1 second, I will be right back and I will show you something. I'll show you why it gets on my nerve. Okay, now I'm back. Okay, now, anyone see this? See that pretty good? The children's book, Dog Man. I saw this. My son picked this up at a book fair yesterday, and I, this is the first one I've ever really looked at physically. I looked it up on the internet. And you look up Dog Man, and oh God, that's the first thing you find. Very few about. Can you still? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm still here, buddy. um, that's the reason why I hate the term Dog Man. It's like, could you come up with something better than that? Come on, at least just call it what it is as far as the description goes. It's a stinking werewolf, a bipedal canine canine type creature that occasionally drops on all fours. Uh, let's see. Well, evidently they do werewolf hunts today. Crazy, huh? Um, they're uncovering. Okay, let's take a look at this one right here. Here we go. In October 2014, a Bulgarian-born farmer. Uh, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name. Traki Dragunov claimed he had found a box chained shut containing a wolf-like skull while plowing a new section of field in the village of Nova Selo, Republic of Macedonia. The account was reported to ancient origins by historian Philip Ganov, who spent time in Novo Selo while conducting research for his book on the Balkan Wars. Mr. Ganov met the farmer, who showed him the box containing the unusual skull. He reported that the skull appeared wolf-like, with the exception of an enlarged cranium, a trait found only in primate species. And you can see that picture right there. I mean, Mr. Ganeve photographed the skull and shared them with government wildlife officials, who concluded that it was likely a wolf that suffered from Paget disease, a condition which caused the skull to increase in size and appear more human-like. Interesting. I'd never heard of that before. Of course, there's a lot of things I've never heard of, but Cephaly. Is that how you pronounce cephaly? Hey, thanks, Ray. I appreciate that. Mr. Ganev said that werewolves have been a staple of Balkan folklore since before recorded history. The legends vary from region to region as far as how and why one becomes a werewolf. Some believe that a person is born with the ability to shapeshift into a wolf. Babies born with hair are said to have a proclivity to this. Other regions believe that a person who died in a mortal sin or made some other union with the devil would be born as werewolves. And it's still Halloween. We got less than 2 minutes. um, it's interesting. All of this is. And go back to the video, the excerpt we were watching. You could feel the shift in the energy, how things have changed, how much different things are. People are becoming more aware of their surroundings, and if they're not, they're totally denying everything. I mean, they're in a state of denial to the point to where it's almost lunacy. But we're the ones who's crazy. That's fine. That's fine. Um, the young lady I talked to earlier, Heather, she when she was telling me this, she said, "I now know I sound crazy." When she started talking about the lights, I said, "No way, you don't sound crazy. You don't sound crazy at all. Just so you're aware." And I believe her mother, gifted. I believe she's gifted. She stated how she's seen blinds open and close right in front of her. How she's seen a potted plant fly across the room totally by itself. So, you know, Um, yeah, lycanthropy is different from syncephaly. I believe that. When you put it in that when you put it in the context of them being a being of dog-headed people, a race of dog-headed people, they're different. Like lycanthropy of wolf and man. You know, um, there's a change that takes place, a physical change with a man turning into a beast or a beast turning into a man of some sort. Um, because the tights. How crazy. Where is everybody? I guess everybody's watching Paranormal Portal, huh? They got their show up tonight. I didn't even look. I was kind of preoccupied. The Loup Garou. Yeah. Um, werewolf, a French word for werewolf. And it was changed up. Um, here in the South, down in Louisiana, the Loup Garou turned into the Roo Garou. And some people interpret that as being some type of Bigfoot, but um, okay, yeah, Ray, I agree with you with that. Sensitivity, I believe, is generational. My mom is precognitive. Um, she she avoids it like the plague. She's predicted deaths and so on and so forth. And when I mentioned this in a live show with Brianna Craighead, I believe we got to talking about that and how it runs in the family. I'm not sure which side. Eric's word for werewolf, get me out of here. Oh, that's great. That's great. Um, yeah, I agree with you, Ray. I believe that sensitivity is generational. And I believe in my family, it's predominantly male. Um, yep. Kids. What hurts my heart about kids is how society um, just totally works them over, beats them over the head with that dummy stick, telling them that this isn't real. Ghosts aren't real. Monsters aren't real. What you're seeing in your closet isn't real. It really pisses me off. Um, it come to think about it, my mom and dad really didn't say one way or the other. They just supported me in their own way, the best they could. Um, they didn't deny it because well, my dad had his own experiences. I know he did. He never talked about it, but I know he did. He told one certain story, um, and he had his own way about him, a way he kept us safe and made sure we had plenty of light around the house at nighttime. Um, how well, my mom just knew certain things. I don't think she knew about the Sabe. I don't think she did. I think Dad knew about it, but I don't think Mom did. But as far as spirits go, um, Mom very well knew, and Dad knew. He believed that. Um, a couple of times he acted like he didn't believe ghosts were real. Then he tells a ghost story that happened to him specifically. Well, what he thought was a ghost story at the time, but I'm looking back on it, the evidence that I've seen, you know, in the story, I believe that he the pals that he was with, not him specifically, but his buddies that was with him, had to go, they had an experience with Sasquatch. I totally believe that. I don't think it was ghosts. I think it was Sasquatch. And got pissed off, but Dad believed in it. He believed it was real. So he didn't. I mean, they tried to comfort me, but they didn't really tell me that it wasn't real. You know, I think it was everybody else, and it's just society in general that just totally throws the veil over your eyes and makes you, beat you over the head. Like I said, with that dummy telling you that monsters aren't real, ghosts aren't real, demons don't exist. You know, oh, but God does. One of my greatest dialogues when I told Dad something was under the bed, he handed me a flashlight and a 45. Did he really? Are you bullshitting me? For real? Did he really do that? That is awesome because that is exactly what I would do with my son. I'd hand him my 45 and I would say, shoot it. That flying ashtray will put a hurting on it. I guarantee. That's right. That's right. I'm not pulling no shit with my son. I'm not telling him that these things don't exist. He knows Bigfoot exists. He knows because I tell him. He knows ghosts exist because I tell him. He knows there's good and bad out here. Stuff you can see and stuff you can't see. He knows because I tell him. He's not going to go out here unarmed. Your dad was a denier. I've known a few deniers in my time. So much so it was just crazy. Well, it's sad how things are. I mean, but if you're different, you're going to be ridiculed. As young adults, they just roll their eyes. Yeah. I mean, it's your responsibility to take care of your kids. Yeah, if you know what's out there and you don't tell your children, you should be thoroughly ashamed of yourself. You should be. Don't lie to them. Don't tell them a bunch of fluff. Oh, ain't nothing out there. Bullshit. There's plenty out there. I mean, you can prepare all day long for, the trouble man can throw at you. But there's the stuff you can't see that sneaks up and gets you. Being empathic is worse than being queen now. Yeah. Oh, empathy, man. Lord of mercy, empathy. Oh, something I can do with less of. Uh, See, that right there. That's the thing. Um, when we're talking about in that article we just read, all these psychologists out here who are deniers, who deny that the spiritual realm exists and there are people out there who need help that are not getting the help they deserve. They're getting fed a bunch of pills and they're getting put in institutions, or they're drugged up so bad that they can't function because their ailment is so bad, and it's nothing psychological, it's spiritual. They're under spiritual assault. They're being bombarded with information outside their purview, um, things of that nature. Being a precog, you hearing voices, the spiritual guides, if you will. I believe that a lot of people will say, "Oh, it's a demon telling you this." What about guardian angels? You hear a lot about guardian angels. Is that bullshit now? Is it? I don't think so. You can't have light without dark. It's just it's just a fact of life. And there's stuff going on around us every day that we can't see. And I've been a firm believer of that for years. Years, way before any of this other stuff, that recently happened. I understand there's a spiritual war going on around us. And it's on another plane of existence, another dimension, you know. I thought I truly believed in Sasquatch until I met one in real life. Yep. Like I told you guys before, I've never actually seen one that I know of. I say that because it's a very distinct possibility that I've seen one and I just blocked it out. But I know for a fact they're around. I found proof. I found proof. And once they get in your head, once they start talking to you in your head, that's it. That's For me personally, I would call that a class A encounter because they've touched you. Yeah, it's awful, man. You know, a lot of people back in the day were ridiculed for their knowledge of healing through herbs and whatnot. They were called potions, and then that was called witchcraft. Witchcraft and wizardry. Um, What's this, Rick? The Marines told my daughter, who is a Marine, if you heard of 29 Psalms, you know a lot of weird shit goes on out there. She was told it happens, but if she brings it up, they will send her to a psychiatrist. Really? Hey, Dylan, if you're still in here, if you're still listening, have you heard anything of that? Did they tell you anything like that while you were in? Because that's fucked up. If they tell you exists, and then you say that, and then they tell you if you admit it exists, and something like that, if you bring it up, they'll send you to a shrink. I'm sorry, man, that's fucked up. It's past midnight now. Gloves are off. Really? 29 Palms. Did you did you experience any weird shit down there? Just yes or no. Oh yeah, Dylan put it uh the best when he said, the military, United States military, is just a big socialist experiment, and he's not wrong. He's absolutely right. Yeah, yeah. I bet. I bet, dude. I mean, I have. I actually watched Mr. Balin today. Watched a couple of his stories today. He tells some good ones, man. He gets some good ones in. He's got over 4 million subs for a reason. He's got over 4 million subs for a reason, dude. That's his job to tell these stories. Hey, look, I'm a capitalist. I would love to get paid for doing this. With my mouth, I doubt I would. Mystery schools. There's a lot being talked about the Illuminati now. You know, now here's an article. Since we've been talking about possessions and ghosts and things of that nature, keeping in line with spirit of the season, Halloween. I'm not gonna end this till probably about 1 o'clock. You guys are still hanging in there. Um, let's see. I'm looking at chat right now. The information is not for everyone. I lean toward the 13 bloodlines theory. I'm not familiar with that, Ray. Are you talking about the 13 powerful families in the world? Yeah. Power of the internet, baby. Power of the internet. Bloodlines of Illuminati. 13 satanic bloodlines was installed with the direct seed of Satan so that different places of that is that what you're talking about? The Rothschilds? Yes. Yeah. Those people. Hmm. I'm kind of reading about that now. There are these are the 13 families in the world that apparently control everything from politics to terrorism. This is about the fascinating conspiracy theory. I love when they just throw that in there. Conspiracy theory that claims these powerful families in the world own 99% of the wealth, leaving 1% for the rest of the world to fight over. These are the families that have a hold in almost every sphere of life, be it politics, business, or entertainment. The 13 bloodlines are said to have connections to wealth and power that are simply unimaginable, and these families span from Europe to China. The leading research behind the Illuminati families is a man named Fitz uh, Springmere, an author and educator, and he has presented some of the most compelling details about the Illuminati bloodlines. Hellfire Club, yeah, I've heard of that. The Red Shields are just new kids on the block, but yes. Yep. Um, Before you read the following article about Illuminati families, it's imperative that you realize that they are all popular points of view and remain just conspiracy theory unless proven otherwise. But goddamn, is it a great conspiracy theory? Okay. Some say, let's see, I care not what puppet is placed on the throne of England to rule the empire. The man who controls Britain's money supply controls the British Empire, and I control the British money supply. Nathan Mayer Rothschild. Bilderberger Group. I've heard a lot about that. Heard. I don't know a lot about it, and that's something I need to look into. Some say, in an attempt to restore balance in the world, a new world order was formed by America and Europe's most elite in both terms of wealth and power. With historical roots that date back centuries, this powerhouse formed by 13 families is known to be controlling practically everything around the globe, from political parties around the world, courthouses, educational institutions, natural resources, foreign policies, food, national economies, media houses, even terrorist organizations. They are the ones who decide where and when the next terror attack is going to happen. They decide when the markets will fall. They decide when new government needs to take over. They decide what happens when at the UN, they decide practically everything. The Bohemian Grove ritual. Now, I've heard a lot about that. Um, oh shoot, confessionals. Y'all familiar with the confessionals? And Tony Merkel. He had a satanic high priest, a former satanic high priest, uh, on there, and he let it fly about who all was there, and he even stated that even Ronald Reagan was there at one point in time when he was the governor of California. So anybody who's anybody in the political world has wound up there. My question is, what happened? Who goofed and allowed uh, Donald J. Trump to get into the White House? Who goofed? Because, I mean, after he got in there, everybody got awoken. I mean, he pulled the wool off of everybody's eyes about what the hell was going on. You need to stop that girl. You see my cat? She wants a little attention. This is Miley. Say hi, Miley. Hey, say hi, Miley. Say hi, Miley. That's my little girl. She is a mess. She's about this far from being feral, but my little girl. Love her. You do not want that. I don't know why, but this coffee's strong as hell. Did not mean for it to be this strong. Um, Alex Jones did a Bohemian Grove documentary. Yep, he did, and so did Mark Dice. I infiltrated it like 20 years ago. Watched it not like long ago. Um, the effigy of care ritual is bone chilling. Um, divine intervention. It was. Um, they got too caught up and too confident in their own power. They got too drunk with their own power and figured that we were too stupid and complacent to ever change anything. And he left the place more fucked up than a shook up box of worms, which is great. Now you've got our commander in chief uh, pooping himself at the Vatican. Yes, that's where we're at now. So, I mean, when it gets right down to it, we talk about the evils of this world. We're talking about the things you can't see. But sometimes, man, it's the things that's right in front of your face that you just don't even notice because you've been conditioned not to. Okay, we'll go back to this. Okay, I'll read this little excerpt right here. The U.S. and U.K.'s government relentless backing for global spread of genetically modified seeds was, in fact, the implement of a decades-long policy of the Rockefeller Foundation since the 1930s, when it funded Nazi eugenics research. An example: mass-scale population reduction and control of darker-skinned races by an Anglo-Saxon white elite. As some of these circles saw it, war as a means of population reduction was costly and not that efficient. William F. Engdahl in his book Seeds of Destruction. I mean, there's a lot of truth to it. There's a lot of truth to it. Stepford Biden. Yeah, he's he's a pent president in name only, I guess. You got to get off me. Keyboard surfing again, girl. She loves to step on my keyboard. I told her to put her digits to work. Look up my stuff for me, be my secretary, but she looked at me like I was a dumbass. She said, screw you. No, I'm just going to lay here and mass on your shit. So, yeah. Goofy in a people suit. That's about right, man. True. She just looked at me like I was dumb. Like, okay, we're gonna look at something here too. I might as well while we're on the subject. John D. Rockefeller in 1882, he set up one of the first investment management businesses designed to run a single family's money. The World Bank come to anybody's mind? Yeah, she's. I want her to be my secretary. You should have seen the way she looked. She looks pissed off all the time anyway. You should see her. I mean, she's a sweetheart to me, but she she's got that. What do they call it, resting bitch face, and she has got that shit down. Yeah. Ray, Ray, I'm glad you like that. Yes, she does. Okay, but here we go. Master planners devise a strategy of a merger, a great merger among nations. But before such a merger can be consummated, the United States becomes just another province in the New World Order. Do we see a pattern here? There must be at least there must at least be the semblance of priority among the senior partners in the deal. How does one make the nation of the world more nearly equal? Insiders determined that two-pronged approach was needed. Use American money and know-how to build up your competitors, while at the same time use your every devious strategy you can devise to weaken and impoverish this country. The goal is not to bankrupt the United States, rather it is to reduce our productive might and therefore our standard of living to the meager substance level of the socialized nations of the world. The plan is not to bring the standard of living in less developed countries up, but to our level, but to bring ours down to meet theirs coming up. It is your standard of living which must be sacrificed on the altar of the New World Order. Gary Allen in his book, The Rockefeller Files. David Rockefeller, some even believe we are part of a secret cabal working against the best interests of the United States, characterizing my family and me as uh, internationalists and of conspiring with others around the world to build a more integrated global political and economic structure. One world, if you will. If that's the change, I stand guilty, and I'm proud of it. He didn't deny it. Some bitch doesn't deny it. Why would he? Oh gosh, I'm glad you guys are sticking around. Y'all warriors. Y'all champs, man. I love you guys. You my peeps. You my OGs. Go and listen intently to whole Jim Tucker and then to Jim Mars. These guys spent lifetime research. I think I will. Oh, wow. The Kennedys, the Lie, the Onassis, Rockefellers, Russell, Van Duyn, uh, Rothschilds. Wow. You know, the sad thing is people have been dumbed down so long for so long now that, I don't know, it could possibly happen. You need to look at the camera. You need to show everybody your resting bitch face so they can see I'm not lying. You look mean as shit, but I love you. Yep, they are highly protected. I guess we're talking about uh, rebellious. Okay, I'm gonna steal that one. I like that a lot. I hope you don't mind, but I am. I'm rebellious. Dylan, what do you say? You got that? Are you rebellious, house? Rebel. I'm a rebel, man. They got to. Somebody's got to stand up against the bullshit and lies. I don't know. Uh, oh, I just saw that. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I do. You guys are awesome. I, you guys hang in there. I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. But it is 12:37 a.m. Oh, let me see if I can shift this down. See her face? You almost look up at the camera. Hey, here. You see? That's that resting bitch face I'm telling you about. That's my biker name, Rebelicious. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. How did we get on this subject anyway? you know, um, I guess, well, what we were talking about earlier, how we say everything's connected. This is just a prime example of, you know, how things get rooted, you know, in what is it Ephesians says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but the rulers of the powers of the darkness of this world. Yeah, we also do wrestle against the flesh and blood because they're here. They're part of it. They're manipulators. I mean, there's a symbiotic relationship going on here. I believe that how they put it, the powers of the air need uh, human intervention. So there's a pact that has been formed centuries ago. And it's hard to tell. Um, and I can't get this out of my head. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's a cool ass nickname, Ray. That's cool as shit. Rebel. Get off, get off of that. You're killing me, Smalls. Killing me. They asked all of us if we would fire on American citizens. Those of us who said no got released early, 2 months early. My stepbrother in the Marines was told not to reenlist. Yeah. You know, a lot of people sit back and say, well, the military would never do that. I beg to differ. My nephew got out because he thinks for himself. Dylan got out because he thinks for himself. He got tired of the bullshit. He called it like it was. I mean, it had its perks, but Dylan says he was never asked that. But I believe that though. I do. I believe that. I actually believe, Dylan, if you'd been in long enough, you might have been asked that question. Possible the way things are going now. What's his name? General Miley, who's so obsessed over white rage and putting guys in dresses in foxholes. Look, no, look, I ain't got anything against transgender people. You do what you want to do. I don't care. You just don't shove it down my throat. And you gonna fight beside me? You better goddamn fight beside me. There's this a thing called friendly fire. I worked with this guy once, and you talk about a fella who was a bubble off plum. He was a little crazy. I've known a lot of crazy dudes in my time, but he was like, okay, he's flying along okay, and then all of a sudden you can just see in his eyes. His eyes get real big, and they talk about what it was like when he was in Nam, and when he talked about some serious stuff. It, it one of those life lessons, that this shit really happened. You know, um, yeah, George Senior. You talking about an evil motherfucker? You do your research on him. He was, man, dude. Yeah, Reagan was a tough old bird. And before he started losing his mind, he got through his first presidency, okay, and after that things started going downhill, and he wasn't really president no more. He's more like, I mean, he was better than Biden, but he wasn't doing a whole lot of governing back then. Yeah, well, a lot of people don't. There's a lot of people aren't alive that know that much about the fact that, oh, George Senior was the head of the CIA, the Christians in Action. What me and my old buddy used to call them, the CIA, the Christians in Action. How you like that one? Y'all can take that one if you want. But more evil bunch you won't meet. CIA. When you look at our history, man. Yeah, I remember when that happened when Reagan got shot. I was watching it on TV. I was just a kid, but I watched. I was watching that on TV, and Reagan got shot. Walked into the car, rode to the hospital. It was 3 days later. He's in a sling. What's up, y'all? Hanging out his hospital window. it's, it's like you just got shot. You don't think somebody might actually try to do it again to finish the damn job? He didn't give a shit. Arm in a sling, hanging out the window. Hey, everybody, I'm cool. Wow. When the case was reopened, my father sat on the front porch for 3 days with a loaded gun. Told my mom, if they come to question me, I'm killing myself. What? Wow. Crazy. I'm going to take a quick break. I will be back, and I will see you in a minute. And I'm back. How's everybody doing? Glad to see everybody's still here. I hope everybody's still here. Okay, something I got to thinking about. Um, was those, my conversation with Miss Heather. I keep calling her. She talked about the lights, and I showed you the video of what a buddy of mine sent to me, and she said the lights keep shooting up out of the mountain. At lightning speed. So, just a sec. See. So here's something I want you guys to ponder. Maybe you can help me out here. She never said what type of light it was, whether balls of light or streaks of light, but she said it would shoot out of the mountain. She did say a flash. Let me see. No. Okay. Now I'm going to read this. I'm not going to bother putting it up on the screen. I'm just going to read it. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I asked her about the pictures that she sent me. I showed you guys those pictures. She said, we had a young goat a while back on something, and something cut its neck and head clean off. It was such a clean cut. And we live in the middle of nowhere, but there are a lot of weird things that go on here in Floyd. So to give you an idea, Floyd, Virginia is where this happened. We moved here in 2019, and I've seen some crazy things. I asked her to elaborate if she could, and she says, my husband isn't really into believing things of the abnormal, but since we moved here, he's also seen some unexplained things, like the goat, but mostly it's things in the sky. I know that's probably not something you're into particularly, but there's a lot of activity in the mountain. She said in the mountain. I don't know whether she means that literally or not, but she said there's a lot that goes on activity in the mountain here that's definitely not Air Force. Other than the horse and goat, nothing else really has happened weirdly to any animals or anything. We have a huge window in our bedroom, like you would usually see in someone's living area. And as soon as we had laid down one night, a bright, and she capitalized bright, in all caps, white light flashed into it and lit our whole room up. That happened a couple of times. Other times you can see lights shooting from within the mountain straight up in lightning speed, and others it may hover. Now I missed that part right there. And this is the part that here that it sounds so that's a typical response of someone who recounts these stories, and we all have been there. We all know what this is about. She says, "I know I sound crazy." She got two laughing emojis, but a lot of people in Floyd describe seeing crazy things like that. That's why I ask if you've ever been here. And I've been to Floyd a lot. I had kinfolk in Floyd. Used to go up there a lot. Um, she says, I've never really gotten big into paranormal things beyond spirits. I used to not believe in ghosts, which most people don't until they have experienced it. So there's that. I'm one of those and have seen a lot of ghost activity in plain eyesight. Like I've seen blinds opening and shut in front of my eyes, pans fly across the kitchen from the counter, etc. Luckily, I haven't in a while. So, what do you think personally could be the cause of horse or goat? And I told her very well could be. I was actually going to say that it sounds to me like Sasquatch activity regarding the goat and the horse. And she said there was no prints anywhere though, and lots of dirt. That's what gets me. It was gutted and left laying about 100 to 150 feet from the lot it was supposed to be in. Okay, she's she talked about her mom briefly about how her mom was really heavy into Sasquatch and she says how would it not leave prints? Wouldn't it be like heavy? And I told her how I found prints and how just there'd be one print, one huge print, and then nothing else. One print. Where the hell did it go? And it's like you said earlier, Eric. You said, "Well, where did it go? Where the hell did it come from?" It's a damn good question. Where did they go? And you're right. If it was a human, you'd think it would take the whole carcass. The soft tissue. There's a lot of vitamins in the internal tissue, the soft tissue. A lot that people just ignore. And we eat the muscle mostly. You know, occasionally save a heart or liver from an animal. I never have had deer intestines. I don't know. No. Oh, it was Ray that actually said that. Okay, yeah. Okay, but still, it's true. Where did it come from? Where did it, you know? Question of where did it where did it go? Hell, where did it come from? And it's a fact. But she said that they would shoot up out of the mountain straight up into the sky, or they would shoot up and just straight hover. That looks like those balls of light that my buddy had taken photographs of. That yes, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that a bit. There's a lot of people out there who believe in Bigfoot but don't believe in ghosts. You know, um, UFOs that don't exist either. They also believe that an 8,000 pound creature standing 8 to 10 feet tall can live in a family clan of beings like it with a caloric intake that would be astronomical and compared to our own, could survive here for a very long amount of time without depleting food resources. See, that's where my mind goes. It's like how in agriculture, they used to alternate plowing in the field. Those who were smart about it. They didn't totally degrade the topsoil and replenish the nutrients. They alternated the planting every year. They didn't plant in the same place all the time. That's what caused you know, the Dust Bowl era back in the day. And to me, the same. If you think about it, even if they're omnivores, they are eating a lot of grubs, a lot of plant matter, along with and a lot of animal. They're partaking of both flora and fauna out there. Um, a creature as large as Sasquatch is supposed to be, and as smart as they are, the caloric intake would be astronomical according to our standards, and that's just basic math. You know how many calories you take in a day. You know, you take these world's strongest man competitors; they're taking anywhere between 15 to 20,000 calories a day. Think about that. 15 to 20,000 calories a day. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine how that's. Uh, I put 2,000 in me now. If I don't, I'll die. I do need more than that. I'm trying to lose weight, man. That's crazy. But you think about that. Yeah, I could be off. It may not be too far off. 23 calories per pound of body weight daily to maintain weight. 23 calories. Yeah, it's way off. I overestimated. But whether or not, I mean, just yeah, it's just part of the mystery. It is. It's part of the mystery. It's just. I can't wrap my head around it. How it could be. How they could be here all the time. And they migrate. Do they migrate, or do they actually? I mean, do they disappear? Do they phase into another dimension? I don't know. I don't know. 108, folks. It's a 2 hour and 35 minute show. Not too bad. Okay, I'm going back and read and seeing what you said there, Eric. Now, what you said when he didn't believe in ghosts until my sister and him had weird stuff happen, then admitted he knew they were there, they were real, he just ignored them. I was listening to somebody today, and they they lived with ghostly activity in their house for so long it just became normal, and it was just, it happens. This stuff moved on its own. It happens. It's uh, I my story. I lived in a haunted house. I lived in it. And there ain't nothing normal about that shit. There ain't nothing normal about it. There's just not. I'm sure you've heard of stories of Sasquatch near garbage. Yeah, and dumpsters. Yeah, absolutely. There was allegedly, I can't remember. I think it was in Nevada. I'm not sure, but there was a casino that had film footage allegedly of a Sasquatch going through its restaurant dumpster bin. Crazy. Hollow Earth, dude. Now I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm not. I'm not denying that there's a possibility of the Hollow Earth. No, I'm not. Well, time is irrelevant unless you don't want to miss your medication. That's right. Hey, I'm on a regular regimen now too. So yeah, I'm on heart medication, two different types, blood pressure medication now because I was a fat ass and um, became a get high blood pressure and a pre-diabetic. So I had to lose some weight, try and get back into shape. But who exactly is here? Yeah. Okay. I don't. I don't doubt. Well, I mean, there's allegedly they've got underground railways connecting these deep underground military bases. Allegedly, there's one that's connected. Um, let's I want to say Area 51, and there's another one close by, and I can't remember the name of it. Allegedly, there's a underground railway. Allegedly, I don't know. So why wouldn't there be a natural cave system? Only what was the Mammoth cave system in Tennessee or Kentucky? I think it's in Kentucky. The Mammoth cave system that goes on for miles and miles and miles, and that's just on the surface here. And from what I understand, I think the deepest we've actually drilled into the earth, human beings have drilled into the earth that we know of, is like what, like 7, 8 miles, maybe. I could probably longer than that. Deepest hole by far is one of the Kola Peninsula in Russia near Murmansk, referred to as the Kola Well. It is drilled for research purposes beginning in 1970. After 5 years, the Kola Well had reached 7 kilometers, about 23,000 feet. So I wasn't far off. So the magma core to this Earth is just a theory. What if that magma is just rock, you know, pressurized, like we normally would theorize it would be, but it's not coming from the core of the Earth. It's just underneath. It's like a lake of magma, like there's lake of water under the Earth. You know. Now I'm talking out my ass. But hey, who knows? One theory, and I'm sorry, I hate to hurt anybody's feelings, but the flat Earth theory, I don't like it. Mm-mm. No, I don't like it. I don't believe that. Bill Schneider story. I need to look that one up. I don't know. Which one are you talking about, Ray? Yeah, magma core is just a science theory. It's not a science fact. So people sitting back saying that Earth's hollow. And there's another world uh, beneath the Earth's surface, deep, deep, deep beneath the Earth's surface. I mean, many miles beneath the Earth's surface. Um, there's advanced people. Yeah, dude, I don't know how much I believe this one, but tell me if you've heard this one. Okay, since we're getting into the realm of what the what, the Duluth base. Hey, look at yonder. Look who is in the chat. Look who is in the chat. Pardon me, I'm constantly having these minor technical difficulties. Ghost in my house. Trying to work things loose. How you doing, Brent? Dulce? Dulce? Okay. Dulce. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that story, man. I'm not familiar with that story. Oh, I'm seeing. Yeah, I'm seeing it now. Phil Snyder talks about alien base under Los Alamos lab. 2016.
Now, I was involved in something very controversial.
Oh, now, yeah. I actually have seen this and I forgot about it. This is a long time ago. It's a couple years back. You, I'm working out the kinks, Brent, and they're big. Happy Halloween to you too, Brent. Thanks for stopping by. Actually, I think it's Luke Sullivan was talking about him. I think him and Wes were doing Fred. That's right. That's Fred Love. Love you, mean it, Brent. These kinks. Technical issues. Technical issues. I need a new boom. You know, sometimes you go on the cheap because that's all you can do. You kind of pay for it. I got a decent mic, but it sucks. Can you hear all that beating and banging around? All right. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, I completely forgot about this. Completely. Yeah, Duke was talking about this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was him and Wes that you definitely get what you pay for. Don't care about kinks. Do you? Sometimes. Okay, rebel. Welcome to real life. I know, right? I'm glad I got you guys with me. But instead of a bunch of crabby old sticks in the mud. Y'all hang right there with me. I appreciate that. I really do. That's all right. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, getting back to talking about uh, Miss Heather, um, I'm going to get a hold. I'm going to get in touch with her tomorrow and set up a time to where I can go out there and investigate her property and find out what's going on. If I can, I'm pretty sure I can get get a hold of somebody who can. Uh, Spencer Jameson, Daniel Benoit, they're not far away from me. They're not far away from me at all. Sharona, that's right. Yeah. All right, peeps. Been a good run. I appreciate everybody coming by. I think it's about time to wrap her up. I think 1:30 in the morning. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna wrap her up. It's been a good one. Um, I was so excited to get this done and call this a Halloween special. And when I got that text from Dylan earlier today, I mean, oh, you're welcome, man. I'm all about trying to spread the word. I want to get the news out there. I want to get the truth out there and spread it. You know, do my part. Like I've said before, I'm not. I have nothing to prove to anybody anymore. I ain't got nothing to prove. I just want to share what I know, share what everybody else knows, get everybody going on here. Just tell your story. Somebody will listen. Share it with somebody. Maybe they'll share it with somebody else. And who knows? That one person could have 1 million followers somewhere. And who knows? People may get people updated. Let them know. This ain't no joke. All of this out here, there's a whole world out here that people aren't familiar with. People scoff at. But it's real. Everybody here tonight knows. I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for coming by here and hanging out with me tonight and being part of this. And you guys are definitely part of the Ravens Outpost for real. You my peeps. You my peeps. Yeah. You my peeps. You guys are all right. I love y'all. Love y'all to pieces. And hopefully everything goes right and I'll be back on a regular schedule and I'll be back on here Wednesday night. Talking more smack about the paranormal. And hopefully you guys will be here with me. So see y'all tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Lord have mercy. I need to get to bed or something. I see y'all Wednesday night. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming by.